What's good? What's good? What's good? If you're catching this in the future, okay, if I'm projecting to you from the past while you're in the future, stay tuned because it's about to get real good. Today's topic is about the Travis Scott ritual, demons, rituals, and magic. Obviously, the whole thing, I'm not about to be just yapping about Travis Scott because, to be honest with you, it's a lot bigger than Travis Scott, right? And so I have some individuals that, have comment on my post saying, oh, I'm tired of everything, all these artists being so demonized. Like, let me talk about that for a minute. If you have never tried chai tea, you need to try yourself some chai tea. What's good, brother? Peace. Peace, peace. So check this out, right? Like I said in my post before, it is not about the symbolism, okay? The symbolism and the sigils that you see in these concerts and a lot of these artists cover art in a lot of their videos, the symbolism is universal tools, right? These tools like the Ankh, these tools like the upside down cross, these symbolic animals like the owl, which is the nocturnal seer of the night, the seer through darkness, like all of these things are symbolic for being able to traverse the spiritual plane or be able to invoke and bring energies in and out of the spiritual plane. When you was looking at that stage, right, you saw the big circle, which had the portal with the graphics in it, and then you saw that cross that came out, which if you look at the circle as the portal and then the line that comes out, you're looking at the Ankh. What that Ankh represents is the physical realm meeting up and contacting with the spiritual realm, whether that's going in the spiritual realm and into the physical, or from the physical into the spiritual realm. Either way that you look at it, the Ankh symbolism is a portal within itself, right? So you like, where the fuck these demons coming from? All right, I'm gonna explain something to y'all, right? Somebody had made a comment on my post yesterday, and it was like, hell is not a real place, right? You're right. Hell is not a physical place that you can go, but hell is a state that you can be in. Hell is an emotional, mental state that you can be in, which can manifest into physical issues, right? That can manifest into physical situations. All right. So what we're talking about at this concert with the energies that are being evoked at that concert, at that ritual, because a ritual is something that you do multiple times. It's something that you do on a cyclical manner, right? This concert happens every year. It's an annual type of concert, okay? And what does the music promote? What is the machine behind every major artist promoting, right? We about to get into some Illuminati shit. Y'all better stay tuned. All right, so check this out. So here's, before I even tell y'all that, right? Check this out. This is about the Illuminati, okay? The Illuminati, okay, whether you want to look at it like, oh, the artists are the Illuminati. The artists are puppets of the Illuminati. The Illuminati is a cult of beings, okay? Some would like to call them interdimensional beings. Yes, there's interdimensional beings that exist in this physical realm only through the occupation of genetically modified bodies, okay? You can say that these are like some type of dimensions or beings, right? These beings actually feast and they eat off of lower energies. They eat off of the hell realm, right? So by keeping us in a state between the solar plexus chakra, which is dealing out of the ego, by keeping you in the state of the sacral chakra, which is going into your sexual energy, by keeping you in the root chakra, which is always worried about money and finance, anything below your heart chakra is a hell-like state. Okay, so when you're talking about this ongoing battle, this ongoing spiritual war that constantly takes place, is constantly taking place between the higher realms and the lower realms, which is the war that takes place within yourself. Now, each individual can become a conduit or a magician or a witch or a warlock to actually induce these certain frequencies to cause you to be in certain states or not, to the unaware, right? That's the whole point of these beings being able to take advantage, right, of the sleep state of the mass consciousness, right? Because we fell out of that golden spiritual age. The reason why everybody waking up right now and it's cool to be spiritual is because we're coming back into that golden age. Okay, remember, everything happens in cycles. So what we're talking about on a universal astrology clock, we're in the age of Aquarius now. This is the information age. This is why the veil is being lifted off of a lot of the occult, what used to be secret dealings of how the universe actually works, as well as what people have been using these for, which is to maintain people in a state of lower vibratory frequencies, where entities that exist within these lower vibratory frequencies are able to attach to your spirit, right? So when we talking about possession, we're talking about demonic attachment. This is real. If a person goes to a concert and they listening to that headbanger type shit, right? And then they trans out, and then they become violent, boom, boom, raging, mosh pit, all of that type of shit. What is that ensuing? Chaos, fear, and violence to somebody that's not on that frequency and not indulging in that frequency. They're going to be taken back by it. Their energy is going to be like, whoa, I need to stay away from that. But for the individuals that are in it, it's they love that feeling, right? So what we're talking about is these entities being able to attach to your chakras and feed off of lower vibratory emotional frequencies that you emit, right? Just like that movie, The Matrix, where you saw them getting plugged into the batteries, right? And the whole machine, okay? The machine itself is the quote unquote Illuminati, and the all-seeing eye are these beings that exist in the lower part of the realms, of the realm of the unseen. Some people call that Satan, some people call that the cabal, some people call that the devil. They have many names, but what we're talking about is a specific energy that you can either embody or you can ascend beyond. Right, someone had commented on the post. It was like, "Oh yeah, these demons, they can't exist beyond the seventh realm." Okay, well, what is the seventh dimension? The seventh dimension, you have 7 chakras. Okay, the highest chakra that you have is your crown chakra. Each and every one of us is a Stargate portal. What you saw at that concert was an external Stargate portal to allow entities in, just like that CERN portal. So once the vibratory frequency is going and everybody's in tune, their minds, their hearts, their spirit is in tune. They're focused on these frequencies that are being emitted at this ritual, at this concert, then that opens them up to being susceptible to demonic possession. Okay, through demonic possession, it can seem just as simple. It can seem like, oh, like to the naked eye, like, oh, that ain't nothing. They just throwing their hands up in the air. Like, no, they're literally giving their energy to this entity. That entity that you see is not just Travis Scott. This same entity is the same entity that possesses most of these mainstream big artists. This same entity, okay? This same entity is the same entity that drains and sucks the energy out of anybody who is feeling fear and all of that. Music is one of the most powerful tools because music is vibratory frequency, and vibratory frequency is universal law. It's literally the foundation of all magic and how things move and operate. Literally what separates physicality from spirituality is the level of vibratory frequency that it is on. As above, so below. So the higher you go, the higher you ascend. The lower you go, the lower you ascend. For every opposite, there is an equal. For every equal, there is an opposite, right? So as above, so below. Now, when we're talking about going beyond, outside of this physical dimension into the higher realms, outside the crown chakras, these entities cannot exist there. That's why when you on your spiritual path and you in perfect alignment, some beings can't even look you in the face because of the entities that are attached to them. These entities literally burned by the light. You know how they say, no man can stare God face to face, right? Men are able to be tempted. Men are able to be susceptible to demonic attachment, to fall through temptations. Where's the temptations? The temptations are in the lower chakras. The temptations are in the hell state. The temptations are in the lower realms, the sex, the money, the ego. I'm this, I'm that, right? What would drive a person to want to become so big, so mainstream, imbalanced within the solar plexus chakra? I want to be valued or above all of these other people instead of seeing how you are in connection with everybody else. All right. By the way, this is chai tea. It is so amazing. Thank y'all if y'all just joined. So what we're talking about here, when we looking at Travis Scott, why do you think that all of these major artists, they like to wear these dark shades? It's hard for them to have conversations. You feel what I'm saying? Because they have lost that humanistic aspect of being able to go on this journey in a natural way. When people sign these blood contracts, what you start to see is that these individuals lose their soul. What is your soul? Your soul is the ability to be able to ascend and go through life experiences like everybody else who comes to this realm, which is a learning realm. This earth realm is a learning realm for the spirit to ascend, right? For you to, and what I mean by ascension is to the balance of Jacob's ladder, going through the root chakra, going through the sacral chakra, going through the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, the crown chakra, and then finally to escape the reincarnation cycle of coming to this realm of learning as far as a spiritual being. You must go through the Stargate portal, which is above the crown, and that's where the demons cannot go. Okay, so when you're talking about selling your soul, you're losing the aspect of yourself to be able to do that, right? You're automatically counting yourself out for this lifetime because you have given yourself to the lower aspect. There is no return for you, right? Because along with that contract, that deal that's made with these entities is to be used as a conduit to emit these negative frequencies, to harness, ensnare, and entrap as many souls into this repeated life cycle process as possible. Okay, and what manifests from that are events that people would call tragedies. You feel what I'm saying? Now, the thing is this: they gave up the ability to actually be a normal individual, right? They gave up that ability to be isolated, right? And then now that they're isolated, now they want to be worshiped, but they're not actually the ones being worshiped. The body, okay, is inhabited by another being that is harnessing and using that energy that is being evoked through the music, through the lights, through the concert, through the symbolism. Okay, so this is a deeper breakdown of this occult science right here. The fact that you're here and you're able to experience, certain life lessons and things of that nature. You're able to balance out your chakras. You don't have to literally be a slave to one aspect of yourself. There's a certain level of freedom. So it looks like these individuals are way up here, but they're really at the lowest point they can possibly be, because everything that they're tied into is the lower chakra, is the root chakra, is the money, is the ego, is the sex. That is what's driving them, is to stay on this physical plane. That's why they always talking about eternal life, when our ancestors knew for a fact that the transition and the death was the most blissful thing, the most highest accomplishment that you could actually accomplish when you do it in a manner that is in balance. And that's what we're here for. We're here to actually balance our spirits, have these experiences that produce positivity and negativity. Okay, and we're able to do that through the manipulation and the control of our energies. Now, how do these entities play a role within our lives? It allows people to get off the path and to trap them into thinking that everything is actually in reverse. It traps a lot of people into thinking that what's going on in the lower realms of existence is more important or has more value than what's going on in the higher realms. Duality is a thing, and everything needs the other part in order to exist. But what I'm saying is there is a level of suffering that comes along with living in your own hell, living within your lower chakras, being addicted to sex, being addicted to feeling as if you need material sources outside of yourself in order to feel value. Okay, feeling like you need other people's validation in order to feel value, which is a solar plexus imbalance, right? These are how demons are able to attach. And when there is an imbalance, then you'll see that these individuals have a hard time of moving beyond those stages within themselves, right? So when we're talking about levels of maturity and things of that nature, you got levels of maturity as far as physicality, as far as mentality, and you got levels of maturity as far as spirituality. These people that sign these agreements to keep everyone trapped in the lower realms are trapped within that lower realm themselves. Okay, and they're probably subject to having to be that way through many lifetimes afterwards. Okay, even if a person was to die or to get off of that type of contract, okay, like a Travis Scott or a Lady Gaga or something like that, what you'll see happen is they would actually put out a fucking clone. Okay, these people will capture their DNA, and through that DNA, they will produce another physical specimen that looks exactly like that individual. And through the technology, they're able to replicate their voice and replicate their thought patterns in order to continue to create the music, which is the tool that controls the masses. And what I mean by control is to have everyone thinking in lower frequencies, thinking in lower chakras, right? Not even thinking, just feeling. Because it's deeper than that. So when I'm talking about doing shadow work, when I'm actually talking about healing, when I'm talking about meditation, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just journaling. Like, yeah, that's a great place to start, right? You got to have like an intervention. Like, let me pinpoint what's wrong. But there's traumas and things that are deep within inside of your lower chakras and even upper chakras, like the heart chakra, the ability to be able to accept love and love others, right? They're so deep that you couldn't even sit here and write it down. because you've put it that far back within your subconscious mind to protect your inner child, right? Everybody wants to talk about the inner child, okay? What is that inner child? The inner child is that innocence to fully and authentically be able to be yourself without judgment. How does that inner child get trapped and get in prison? Because we look outside of ourselves, and every time you do something that doesn't go with the flow of the masses of society, that doesn't go with the flow of what your family wants, boom, a part of your inner child gets locked away. And over time, as we experience these minute traumas, okay, whether it's expressing yourself in a certain way or whether it's trying to do something that's outside of the box, okay, a piece of yourself is lost, right? And so everyone's inner child is in prison in order to protect their own ego so that they can fit into society, right? This happens over time. So when you're talking about healing the spirit, you're talking about unlocking that inner child, being able to be you. That's where your creativity is. The sacral chakra is the main source of your creativity. The sacral chakra is responsible for creation. When you bring in that information, when you bring in that DNA download, when you bring in that sacred serum from the spinal cord and it shoots out of the penis, that same energy that is brought forth to create another physical being to come into this physical three-dimensional reality can be harnessed and moved upward. Okay, that energy moving upward is what we talking about as far as, you know, the Christ consciousness, right? And I'm not talking about like, oh, like Christ, like if you hit me, I'm not going to hit you back. No, not that type of Christ consciousness. What I'm talking about Christ consciousness is the cross, the point right here at the top of your spine where you have the pineal gland and you have the hypothalamus, all of those different type of organs, the pituitary gland, where those organs meet. There's supposed to be an energy surge that happens when you're in balance with the rest of your chakras. And in order to have that energy surge happen, you can't be pulling the energy down through your sexual activities. The energy has to climb up through the sustaining or the abstinence of your sexual activities to use that energy to push yourself up and out of the higher, up out of these lower realms. You feel what I'm saying? So this is what I'm talking about as far as spiritual ascension. For you to be like, oh, Jesus died and was crucified on the cross. The cross is inside of your own body. You get what I'm saying? At that point where these organs meet, where that spinal cord meets, is that point of the spark of the seat of God. You know, I climbed Jacob's ladder and I met God face to face. We talking about that energy that goes up. Now, how does that happen? Well, first off, if you try to do it before you are in balance with your chakras, with your spiritual energy centers that manifest situations within your life, sometimes they can be on repeat cycles if you're not willing to do anything about it, or if you're unaware that it's a repeated cycle, like failed relationships, like not understanding what your path is within life, like not speaking up for yourself when you need to, or saying too much when you don't need to, or getting too much involved in sex, or constantly worried about money. These are all imbalances that will manifest within your life because these root chakras are literally emitting electromagnetic frequencies that connect with the Earth's electromagnetic frequency. Remember how we was talking about before, if you into any occult science, you know for a fact that it's as above, so below, so within, so without. So the same internal mechanisms of your own being are the same internal mechanisms and mainframe and framework of this universal existence, of this Earth plane. So you're constantly emitting a frequency that comes back and correlates like a computer mainframe system. And if that chakra is out of balance, you're going to send out a frequency. The universe is going to send you a frequency that's going to match that frequency. That's why people be like, yo, why is it that I can't, get into a better relationship? Why do I keep attracting the same type of women? Why do I keep attracting the same type of men? It's because of your subconscious spiritual frequency is emitting that out to the universe, and the universe is only going to send you what it is that you're vibrating at. That's why they always like, God don't give you more than you can handle, right? Because it's you. You are the God. If you can control your vibratory frequency, then you can control your own reality, okay? And the ultimate goal is to ascend beyond this three-dimensional reality in the first place. So where does the meditation come into play? Okay, because remember I was saying, you can't think this shit away. This is deeper than just thinking, right? It's deeper than that. Because remember, every single thought that you have is a manifestation of your chakras. Just like if you have a demonic attachment and you got a sex demon on your sacral chakra, you're going to be having sexual thoughts all day. Every person you look at, you're going to sexualize it in some type of, oh, look at that ass. Oh, look at them titties. oh damn, he got a big ass chest, he got big ass arm. You get what I'm saying? These are how the thoughts manifest from the imbalances of the chakras, and that's just on the sacral chakra level. Okay, if you got imbalances within the solar plexus chakra, you walking around saying things that aren't conducive to a positive upliftment to yourself, right? So this is where negative thoughts about yourself come from, imbalances within the solar plexus chakra. Now, here's where the meditation comes into play. You can't think it away, like I said. You got to control the vibratory frequency. And what controls the vibratory frequency is your breathing, your energetic level. Okay? The breath, the prana energy is what controls the level of vibratory frequency that each individual chakra is vibrating on. And remember, the vibratory frequency of your chakra pulls situations that manifest into physical reality into your life. All right? So when I'm talking about actually going within, I'm talking about not just sitting there trying not to have a thought, not even just trying to control your thought, because by using the breath meditation that I teach properly, what you're able to actually do is get on the same frequency of the universe, which the universe is always in alignment. You get what I'm saying? God, that being that we all come from, that being that is the collective consciousness that each and every one of us manifest from, that each and every one of us is just the individual experience, a speck of, that is always in alignment, right? So when we talk about grounding ourselves, we're talking about getting in tune. That's what I'm talking about. By you using certain breath patterns, naturally, you're automatically going to invoke that type of energy within your being. How do you target each chakra? You got hand mudras, okay? Each hand, each finger represents a particular elemental aspect. Just like you in this hoodoo voodoo group, we always talking about elements. And if you're doing spells and you're doing rituals, you need to have a piece of each element within your ritual in order for you to actually create a change or an effect within this physical reality, because you got to follow universal law. Magic is universal law. If you're not understanding universal law, then you ain't doing magic. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it comes down to the day, the time. All of those have specific energetic frequencies, okay? And then if you ain't got confidence within yourself, then you're just doing yourself a disservice and making your magic weaker if you don't have confidence or you have any doubts or anything like that. But the real alchemy, it starts off within. So when we're talking about the mudras, boom, root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra, heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye chakra, crown chakra. Each one of these mudras are connecting certain energetic frequencies within your own being that allow you to target each one of your chakras specifically. And by using the breath meditation techniques that I teach, what you're able to do is tap directly into a specific chakra, so you don't just completely open up Pandora's box at one time. Because when you do that, like I said before, you're unveiling and you're pulling up things that you might not have even brought to the surface within your conscious mind. Right, so that's why it's best to go one at a time, and that's what I teach. I do one-on-one sessions on actually being able to heal by using specific ancient breath meditation techniques that was passed down to me by my ancestors in the astral realm, so that I can help more people ascend. Because a lot of the same shit that y'all be going through within y'all life, money, finances, relationship, that's all lower chakra shit, right? And then if you're dealing with that, then it means that there's an imbalance, and the way you fix that imbalance is by manipulating your energetic frequency. As you start to do this breath technique, it becomes a whole spiritual experience within itself. You see everybody talking about, I don't necessarily have a one-on-one class, but what I do have is I do one-on-one private sessions, and I actually do a course that you can take privately. I like it to be a one-on-one thing. That way it's not overwhelming, but I can put together a class to where I would do it the same way. It will be one-on-one, but it will be multiple people in the class, kind of like how I did my astral projection class. But back to what I was talking about as far as the ascension and stuff like that. You don't want to open up the Pandora's box all at one time, okay? Because that's where people end up in the crazy house and all this type of shit. So imagine you unlocking your spiritual abilities, and then you're not ready to unlock your spiritual abilities, but on top of that, you still have these demonic attachments, right? Because everybody picks up attachments in certain type of ways if they're imbalanced, just due to the nature of what's going on in this reality currently. Right? You see it everywhere you turn. There's some type of energy that's trying to pull you to the lower realm. Some type of entity trying to feed off of your subconscious imbalances, your spiritual imbalances, your chakra imbalances. Right? So if you open that all up at one time, next thing you know, you seeing beings constantly. You don't know how to turn it off. Okay? Beings, the demons, they manifest as far as how you can perceive them. So it's like each person might have a different perception on what a demon is, right? The same demon that's attached to one individual that's attached to another individual, it can look different, but it's the same energy, if you feel what I'm saying. So if you open that up and you haven't done the proper cleansing level, right, you start activating the Kundalini. You feel what I'm saying? You start activating that Kundalini, then what happens is you're exposed to all of those iniquities, the things that your conscious mind is able to block out and have you just move forward and do it anyway. Every day you like, damn, I can't stand this fucking job, but I'm about to do it anyway. That's your conscious mind pushing you forward to do something that your spirit don't even want you to do. The conscious mind, it kind of helps us, right? It helps us keep our sanity. It helps us stay grounded. But when you cross that bridge between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, if you haven't done the cleansing, if you're not focused on the cleansing, then what happens is that veil that protects your sanity, okay, is lifted. And if you ain't a spiritual astronaut, it's going to be difficult for you to still be able to function in this physical reality. Okay, so that's what the purpose of a shaman is for, because not everybody is a spiritual expert out here. Not everybody is a psychonaut. You get what I'm saying? That's what the purpose of healers are for. Everybody wants to have an ego when it comes to spirituality, but a lot of y'all need help because a lot of people are stuck in this mental cycle. Like, oh, let me just write this down. Let me just take this spiritual bath, and you still dealing with the same shit in your life. You've been taking spiritual baths for the past year, and you still dealing with some of the same issues. You feel what I'm saying? Because that is surface level shit. This cookie cutter spirituality stuff that done popped out, I'm telling y'all right now, that shit will just have your ass running in circles if you don't get to the root of this occult science. Because the alchemy starts from within. A lot of people thinking that they can just do some magic spell or something like that and boom, their life's going to be different. But you got to remember that you got to be in alignment with certain things. Let's say somebody do a spell for you, okay? Let's say you're not ready for it. That's why I don't do spells for everybody. Right? Let's say you have somebody do a spell for you in order for you to gain this or have this person come into your life. If your vibratory frequency isn't in alignment with the universe and that spell goes out there, guess what's going to happen? People that you love around you are going to have to die. Certain things you're going to have to lose. People around you are going to lose certain things in order for that spell to actually work. And trust me when I say the spell will work, but you might not be happy with the result because you wasn't in alignment with what you wanted to happen in the first place. Your heart, mind, and spirit wasn't there. Otherwise, you would have manifested it already. Spells are supposed to help you on a path that you already taken effort to go and do, right? So if you already taken actions to have this thing happen within your life, then the spell is going to help you. But if you expect somebody to just do a spell and you not do anything to shift your own energetic frequency, then guess what the fuck is going to happen? You're going to manifest chaos within your life that produces more negative. You know how they always talking about, oh, that deal with the devil. Like it sounded good at first, but damn, I ain't know all of this shit came with it. That's the same type of thing. That's why it's important to be in balance and to be constantly working on yourself. All right. Money spells and things of that nature. That's easy, right? Because we dealing at the very basic level here. We dealing with the root chakra. That's why when we doing money spells, yes, you're going to come into a couple $1,000s and things of that nature. When we do group money spells, yes, you're going to come into some money. Okay. But as far as the money coming to you being life changing, that requires an internal healing process in order for you to balance your own root chakra. That's what I'm talking about. Otherwise, you ain't gonna be able to handle that. You're gonna hurt yourself with it. You feel me? People hit the lottery. Look at all these lottery stories about people hitting the fucking lottery, and then their entire life completely gets destroyed because they came into contact with some type of imbalance. It wasn't in their reality for that to happen in a way that nobody was harmed or they weren't harmed. So when you're doing spells or you're dealing with somebody that's doing spells for you, you got to be careful with the energies that you work with. That's why when I do people's spells, I got to understand what's going on with their birthday. I have to be writing something that was wrong, right? Most of the spells that I do is correcting something that somebody else did, right? It's correcting like a curse that was put on somebody. You feel me? That's what most of my spells are for. I really don't do a whole lot of like, oh, love spells and shit like that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I can get you an attraction oil, but ultimately, or if a person is being, how can you say it, distracted by somebody else, I can do some type of separation. If you telling me things that lets me know that this individual is with that person beyond their own will, or you're telling me that this person is being influenced in a negative way and you can help them by being with them, then I'll do the spell. But I'm not about to just bust out with no information and just pop out and do spells. But back to the chakra cleansing. Forgive me, y'all. I can go off on some tangents sometimes. It just be so much information and downloads coming in. But so check this out. You don't want to open the Pandora's box before you're ready. Okay? That's what the purpose of healing is for. All right? You got to spiritually heal before you can access your spiritual abilities, because if you ain't ready to harness those spiritual abilities or to use those spiritual abilities, then it's going to be more of a curse than it is a gift. Imagine having your third eye open and you're able to see all of these demonic entities and spirits on people, but you can't turn it off. That's the level of mastery. The level of mastery is being able to turn it off. That's why when some people take acid, some people take LSD, they lift up that veil. They totally cut off their conscious mind, which allows them to see the overlaying of what's going on the spiritual realm. And that's why they end up like, oh my God, that was a bad trip. Because you wasn't ready to receive all of that information. Right? So this is the whole point of meditation, right? Because you don't have to rely on something out of yourself in order to tap in. That's why I teach these breath techniques, because through the breath techniques that I teach, they give you the same results as if you were to take some mushrooms or if you were to take some ayahuasca, because at the end of the day, it's all about vibratory frequency, where you're invoking inside of your own being. When you take a mushroom or you take some LSD or you take some ayahuasca, you're invoking something called dimethyltryptamine. Okay, that is the molecule that is released from the pineal gland whenever you're born and whenever you die. What do I mean by whenever you're born and whenever you die? The veil, the portal between the spirit realm and the physical realm, that molecule is responsible. That's the science behind the consciousness and the brain being able to even shift between the conscious and the subconscious, which the subconscious is the spiritual realm. So by you using the breath technique, you're inducing yourself to release that methyltryptamine in natural doses that are already inside of your own brain, inside of your own mind. It's not something that, oh, I'm going to take this mushroom. Like, check this out. Did you know that you can take mushrooms one time? Let's say you take 3.5 grams. In order for you to get to the same vibratory frequency you took the very next day, you have to take twice the amount. So there's a depreciating value to that experience, because there's no foundation that you're building on of mastery within, right? You're relying on something outside of yourself. So that's why I teach these techniques. I teach the techniques so you can master yourself, and you don't have to have mushrooms to be a shaman. You don't have to have mushrooms or alcohol or weed to be a healer, because the meditation builds that internal foundation within yourself. And I know you're like, yeah, meditation. Remember, it's about the breath. The breath controls your vibratory frequency. The breath activates the different chakras. Each one of your chakras is connected to a specific organ. Each one of your organs releases a specific chemical or a hormone within the endocrine system. Okay, like the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, the kidneys, the liver. They have more than just cleansing the body on the physical plane. They're also releasing these certain secretions that induce certain types of states of consciousness when you have them vibrating on a certain frequency. All you notice by healing, right? They talk about the pyramids and shit. Each one of the pyramids is tuned to heal the chakras or heal the organs. The chakras and all the organs are connected. People dealing with certain organ failures is due to a manifestation of an imbalance within their chakras. You want to heal the heart? You're going to have to be willing to forgive. Okay? People having heart problems, they either didn't get enough love or they're cold-hearted. Like as far as being able to accept love and be open to other people. Okay, that's where heart problems manifest. But how do the heart problems manifest from there? You're like, well, just because they're not willing to really love people and have an open heart, how does that manifest? Okay, well, what do people do that suffer from love? They try to compensate for that love by doing what? Most people cover that up with eating or some type of drug issue. And eating is poison, and those poisons affect certain parts of the body, right? People that overcompensate love with sex, okay? Then they're going to have kidney issues, right? Because the kidneys are like your internal gonads. You feel what I'm saying? For men and women. Every time a man ejaculate, you can feel that shit in your kidney. You feel what I'm saying? So when you're talking about kidney disease and you're talking about kidney failure, stop having sex. Abstain from sex. Save that life force energy. Okay? Because if the kidneys go, you gonna go. Like, that's facts. And I mean, I hate to laugh at that shit, but it's a way that it can be reversed. I mean, obviously, if you alkaline and all of that type of stuff, and you start saving your life essence juices and focus on bringing it up rather than emitting it out, then you ain't gonna have no issues. You get what I'm saying? Every ailment can be reversed. You feel what I'm saying? But as far as spells and rituals, like I was saying before about the Ankh and the upside down cross. Remember I was explaining to y'all about the cross and how when the cross is in its upright position, it represents that connection between the higher self and the lower self. Christ consciousness, I'll turn the other cheek, boom, slap me, nigga, boom. Like, it's not like that, but what I'm trying to tell you is that it's a balance between the ego and a balance between the spirit. The ego is what allows you to stay here, and this is how you know it's facts. If you ever done any type of psychedelic or went into some deep meditation, you can get into this point where you completely lose your ego. And when you completely lose your ego, that's how I know it grounds you to this reality, because you can't even remember your name or who anybody is around you, and you don't even know what a fucking finger is when you detach from that ego. That ego is a pivotal part of the psyche that connects you into your identity of who the fuck you actually are. But the thing is even when we connected to that, most people have a false perception because of all these lights and all of these cameras and what we're giving our attention to. We have a false perception of who we actually are and what we actually are because of the manipulation of the very own magic that used to be our ancestors. So talking on that note, when you're talking about the cross, when they turning the cross upside down on your ass, they're talking about the descension. As above, so below. Just as high as you can go just as low. And there's beings down there. There's beings that exist. And it's not an actual place, because what I'm here to tell you is that we're all occupying the same space. All right. So the higher dimension is still inside of you, the temple, and the lower dimension is still inside of you. That's why when you're looking at a Kabbalah tree of life or a Kemetic tree of life, you notice that you got that root that bring you here, and then you have chakra here, chakra here, chakra here, chakra here, chakra here, chakra here, chakra here. It all goes into balance because we're talking about the dualistic aspect. Each level has two layers to it. Each level is occupying the same space, but it's equal and opposite energies that are still in there, right? And this is what I'm talking about by that never-ending battle, right? So you conquer one aspect of yourself, and now it's time to move up the ladder to the next aspect of yourself. Okay, money's not a problem. Okay, boom. Is sex a problem for you? Are you overindulging in that? Are you using sex more than just to actually create another human being? Are you using that as a way to pacify yourself for some type of insecurity or something that you possibly lacking internally? Okay, next you move up to the solar plexus chakra. What about your ego? What about the value that you put on yourself? Are you doing things to compensate for an insecurity of value within yourself? Do you constantly need validation of value from other people? Do you have to buy certain things to make yourself feel this type of way? These are all manifestations of imbalances, right? Like I said before, you go into the heart chakra. And so that's what I mean by that cross can be upside down. Or the Ankh, which is a portal. It's a circle right here, and then you have the line, and then you have the line below it, okay? At the top represents the all that is all, the infinity, the astral realm, the spiritual realm. This line right here represents that point of connection, or the bin point, right? When you're looking at a pyramid, right, at the top of the pyramid, the very top of the pyramid is the bin point. That's where physical reality meets the spirit realm, or the spiritual reality. And what they're not showing you, the reason why the pyramid doesn't connect at the top is because you can't see the other part of the pyramid, because that is beyond the veil of physicality. You got to have the third eye open in order to see that, but it's there constantly. All right. And so that same point, even though they manifested outside of you in a structure, they got that same point within inside of you as well. Okay, the two intersecting pyramids that actually come together and overlay on each other, and when they're all in perfect alignment and balance, they start spinning to make something called a Merkaba, a spirit light body. It's actually a vehicle for your soul to be able to travel in beyond this three-dimensional realm, and that's why you got to have all of your chakras activated in order to ascend beyond the seventh realm. The Merkaba has to be activated in order to go through that stargate above the crown chakra. chakra. Okay, and we talking about this beyond Kundalini activation, because you got to have a Kundalini activation before you activate the Merkaba to go beyond the seventh chakra. And this is what I mean by the demons and the entities can't exist beyond that. They can only exist in the lower realms. But if we still dealing with these human problems and you ain't stepping to your godhood, then the Merkaba is not activated and you traversing the spiritual plane. Yeah, we got spirits that's just still wandering around within this same space because they haven't activated the Merkaba. They waiting to go right back into that moon to get recycled and come back out. Just like you saw with matter of fact, you remember that Egyptian that it's a picture, it's a famous picture, a famous hieroglyph where you got the scales of Ma'at. Okay, and then on one scale you have a feather, and on the other scale you have a heart, and then what you have is like this reptile, this alligator that's like right here. So they say that if your heart isn't as light as a feather, right? Remember, vibratory frequency determines how high or low something can go, right? All solids are vibrating low. All liquids, gases, and ethereal is vibrating high. If your heart chakra, okay, which is that point where heaven and hell meet, is vibrating too low, then you're going to be consumed by what? A reptile. So what are we talking about? Who is controlling this current reality that we in on the 3D realm? The reptilians. Who eats the blood of the children of God? The reptilians. The reptilians, you can't necessarily see these motherfuckers physically because they look like you. They inhabit these genetically modified bodies and things of that nature. But what I'm here to tell you is that they exist in the interdimensional realms, right? It's not like you're going to see a reptilian walking around. They're reptilian in nature, meaning that they're only accessing the lower animalistic aspects of themselves. All a reptile is going to do is eat, sleep, kill shit. Eat, sleep, kill shit. That's all it's going to do, because that's all it's tapped into. That's the only thing it can go. Its only existence is to be here in this lower realm, right? To move beyond that, being consumed by the reptilian, right? Your heart chakra, you got to activate in order to ascend beyond this realm of reincarnation. Everybody back here, because we ain't get it right the hundreds of times we done came before. And this is because of the spiritual consciousness death, or the death of the golden age, or going into the dark age of spirituality, which our ancestors knew this was coming, because that's why they had to write everything down. That's why they put everything on the walls in Egypt. They put everything on the walls out here in North America. When we talking about the Kodokan and we talking about the Mayans and the Incans, okay, the information had to be put out, or otherwise it would have been lost. All right. And so unfortunately, when these beings came in to this reality to take advantage of us falling into these lower realms, guess what happened? Obviously, the knowledge is going to be used against us in order to trap us. But we're coming out now. Okay, so as we come out and we start gaining back the knowledge, now we're able to ascend and realize what we truly are, which is gods. We're more than just normal humans. Okay, and what I mean by human is like all of the things that you would associate with being human. Oh, like, you know, humans make mistakes and all that. Like God don't, you know, like God don't make mistakes. It's because you've experienced so much and you're in such balance that you're able to avoid all of these reciprocal cycles of mistakes that humans make, right? You don't have to experience this type of life anymore. You're able to exist in realms that are beyond. You feel what I'm saying? But so yeah, the reptilians do exist. And them motherfuckers is eating your fear. They eating your sadness. They eating the depression. They eating the anxiety. They're invoking that energy so that they can eat. When you're talking about that Travis Scott concert, that was a feeding frenzy. This motherfucker opened up the portal and let all of them shits out and start attaching to people so they can consume, right? Festival, feast of all. You feel what I'm saying? They just let everything in. And what I wanted to say is that it's bigger than Travis Scott, man. Like, every major artist has this beast behind it, okay? Behind them, if that's even them anymore. You feel what I'm saying? And that's why you see the same symbolism. It don't matter if you look at the Rolling Stones. It don't matter if you look at Pink Floyd. It don't matter if you look at Travis Scott or the Baby. They all got the pyramids with the all-seeing eye on it. Just having you realize, like, hey, like, this occult science is being used against you. They put it right in your face. That's universal law as well. Because none of their magic would work if they didn't put it in plain sight. It's just now your third eye is open to be able to see it. Because remember, everybody got a choice, right? your choice. It don't matter. Like if they put it in your face or they put it in your pocket and you ain't know it was in your pocket, is that their fault? Right? So that relieves them of karmic debt. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's how you avoid karmic debt and having negative things happen to you, is because the universal law removes the guilt, right? So you talk about doing a spell. Oh, it's going to come back on me. Do you feel guilty about it? Is your heart chakra going to emit a frequency to the universe to send that energy right back to your ass, who you was trying to put a curse on? I don't know. That's on your alignment. That's on your alignment. So you got to ask yourself, would you have remorse on that? Me, I know the type of being that I am. I'm a balanced being. I don't come after people for no reason. And anything I do is to protect myself or somebody else. So I don't have any guilt about none of the magic that I do. None of it. That's why I don't have to worry about karma coming from spells and curses that I do. Hell, I made a post the other day. That shit was funny as hell. I was like, I was like, man, if another motherfucker come in my inbox with every problem in the world looking for a free spiritual handout, right? Wanting my time and my energy for free, I'm like, you can either book a consultation or you can take this free curse to get hit by a bus tomorrow. I mean, I'm not about to waste my time and energy for motherfuckers to get hit by a bus from a curse because they looking for free handouts. But, you know, you got to spot these spiritual vamps, bro. It's people running around the spiritual community. They done exhausted all their resources as far as on they self. Like, they buying McDonald's and shit. They buying clothes and shit. And they want you to come and heal their root chakra. You feel what I'm saying? They ain't done no work or tried to invest in themselves in any type of way on the spiritual aspect, and they come to you and they expect you to give your time and your energy for free. It don't work like that. Reciprocity is a part of universal law. So if you come to me like that, I'm gonna look at you like you're trying to steal. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just being honest. Okay. But yeah, if y'all don't know, one of my partners is Ashley's Grounding. That's my wife. Okay, y'all see her posted in there. Ashley's Grounding is my real life wife. Okay, we got 5 beautiful children together, and we run this business called Ashley's Grounding. We do have a website called ashleysgrounding.com that y'all can actually book a reading with me. I'm an astrology reader as well. If y'all didn't know, y'all saw a post where I had one of my brothers, do a review, okay? And pretty much when we're talking about diving into your astrology, what we're talking about is being able to take a look directly at your chakras, take a look directly at your energetic frequencies that are being projected down by the stars. Remember, we live in a holographic reality. So when in the Bible it said that the stars sang, what we're talking about is the vibratory frequency of these planets and these stars that project down into this reality. Okay, and as they project down into this reality, they manifest situations that occur within our lives. Okay, and so that's how astrology actually affects your life. So you're talking about first house, fifth house, second house, third house. You're talking about, like my rising is Aquarius and my Gemini and my sun sign is Leo. Well, this is the thing. Most people don't realize that all 12 zodiac signs are a part of you, because just because it's not in your rising sign, or just because it's not your sun sign, doesn't mean that it's not a part of you. It could be in a different aspect of your life, because each house in your astrology chart represents a particular aspect of your life. So your 4th house is your childhood and your connection to your mother and how that plays out, because your connection to your mother, especially in men, determine the type of relationship that you have with another individual on an intimate level, right? So if you had issues in the 4th house as far as your domestic upbringing as a child, then you're going to have those same issues manifest within your relationships, which is in the 7th house. Okay. The 6th house is the adversities that you have to overcome as an individual. You feel what I'm saying? And the 8th house is the house of transition. So how do you actually handle life-changing events that come into your life? Are you prone to reciprocal life cycles? Okay. Also, how you're going to die, right? That's the 8th chart, how your physical body is going to end. All right. So it gets pretty deep. Like the 11th house goes into how friends and people that you connect with on a platonic level actually affect what goes on and what happens within your life, because everybody who you connect with gives off an energetic frequency that bounces off of you, and then you reflect that into the universe, and it brings situations to you. You feel what I'm saying? Just like, you are who you hang around, or, it's the same thing like that, right? So, oh, thanks, Shabu. Appreciate that. But so when we talking about astrology, the planets, like you know how the zodiac signs. So like, you could have Aquarius in your fourth house, and you can have Pisces in your fourth house. Most people be like, you know, I'm only this, or my rising sign is this. Most people have two rising signs. To be honest with you, when you look at a person's astrology chart, it's not cut out and dry. You're gonna have some houses with three fucking zodiac signs in them. You feel what I'm saying? And some houses are going to only have one. Some houses aren't going to have planets in them. Remember, it's only 9 planets. You can't have 9 planets in 12 different houses. All right. So what I'm saying is like each planet has a specific type of energy that it carries. Like Jupiter, it makes things bigger. Whatever you're looking at in that house, that's going to make that situation bigger. Saturn constricts things and makes things smaller, which can be beneficial or harmful depending on where it's at. So astrology is deep. You feel what I'm saying? If you want to know more about yourself and why you're actually experiencing what you're experiencing, that can really help you on your spiritual journey to have someone truly read your chart. And I'm not talking about no cookie cutter ass astrology cafe generated as reading. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that bullshit. You get what I'm saying? So the Lilith sign, okay? The Lilith sign is like dark side, shadow self. The Lilith sign is pretty much the negative aspect, alter ego. You get what I'm saying? Like you know, if you got Spider-Man, who's the good character, well then you got Venom. Okay, Lilith is the equivalent of Venom. And you feel what I'm saying? Like that's what that is. So depending on where that's at, that's where you're gonna see the dualistic aspect of what it is that we're talking about. Lilith could be in any one of your 12 houses with any one of your zodiac signs, with the planet on top of that, which is going to also influence it. But just knowing that the Lilith represents the opposite of the light, or the opposite of positive, it's mostly associated with darkness and negativity and things of that nature. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah. And I do tarot card readings too. You feel what I'm saying? Like, man, dude, check this out, man. People come to me for tarot card readings. They be like, I just want a general reading. You get what I'm saying? I do a general reading for their ass, and then they be expecting me to tell, like, man, people get it fucked up. This spirituality shit is not all peace, love, and light. Like, you really have to have balance when you're dealing with this stuff, right? Because people come to me for reading. Oh yeah, I just want a general reading. And then next thing you know, what pops up in that reading is, damn, like, you've been cheating on buddy, and it's time for you to let him know or let buddy go, but you're afraid because of the consequences of letting him know what's going on. And until you do that, you're going to continue to suffer within your relationship. But the only reason you're still attached to buddy is because you have financial ties, but your heart really isn't in it. But at the same time, you connected at the root chakra with buddy, and until you do that, you ain't gonna do nothing but manifest heartbreak and suffering. And so you might have to hit rock bottom in order to get yourself out of this situation. Like, she wasn't expecting that in the reading, but that's what popped up in the reading. You feel me? And you know I ain't gonna throw no names, put nobody's business out there like that. But if you come to me for a reading, like, I'm gonna tell you the truth about the situation. I don't sugarcoat anything, but I always give you a resolution on how you can fix it, because nothing is set in stone. Because remember, you're the creator of your reality. I can just tell you which way the energy is flowing. You feel what I'm saying? I can tell you which way the energy flowing. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah. But yeah, I also wanted to talk about this too. Okay, so look, Ashley and I, like I said before, we give the opportunity to do group spells, okay? And the way our group spells work is we operate pretty much on a cycle. So the first spell that we have, which we're actually doing tonight, is an 11-11 financial breakthrough spell. So this spell is directly going to be targeting the root chakra in order to open up some energies to allow finances to flow and to come through you, right? It's important that you partake in certain rituals to maintain that certain balance and unison with the universe. So if y'all would like to get into that, it's open to anybody who wants to join. We do require a donation. For this one, it's only $15 if you're trying to get on this money spell. That's pretty much what it is. The money spell itself is called Financial Breakthrough. And we also have enchanted oils that we make, to where we take the energies of the actual spell that we're doing on the altar and infuse them inside of our oils. You can also check those out on ashleysgrounding.com. Okay? So that's ashleysgrounding.com. And yes, you can send it now. Let me go ahead and put that cash app up here for you. The cash tag is Ashley Grounding, not Ashley's Grounding. It's Ashley Grounding. Okay. So that is the cash tag. I wonder if I'm able, I think that's going to stay pinned. All right, boom. So the cash tag is pinned right there. If anybody wants to ever book anything with me as far as an astrology reading, I do tarot card readings on relationships, financial, career, life path, all that stuff. But if you really want in-depth on the life path, you might as well just go ahead and book an astrology reading. We also do personal spells, mainly to help people. I don't like putting curses on people unless somebody is really attacking you and you got proof that you've been under spiritual attack. But other than that, I'm out, y'all. Don't be afraid to inbox me to ask me any questions or anything like that. Just know that if you're trying to type a whole lot and all of that type of stuff, I'm probably going to be like, hey, you need to book a consultation, because I do spiritual consultations. You feel what I'm saying? My spiritual consultations are $50, but it's not like I put a time limit on anything like that to where I answer any questions that you need. I give you insight and enlightenment on any situation that you're going through and how that pertains to you on the spiritual level. It doesn't matter if there's health, relationship, finances, all that type of stuff. But really, to be honest, you get more bang for your buck through one of these services, as far as readings and astrology charts and things of that nature. And you get the most bang for your buck out of your private meditation sessions with me, because that's where the healing starts. So if y'all looking to break cycles and repeated life cycles and things of that nature, get the healing meditation session with me. I'm gonna teach you the breath of these ancient techniques that actually show you how to balance your chakras and really go into that state of consciousness, the subconscious mind, so you can start to transmute and perform alchemy within yourself, so you can start ascending. You feel what I'm saying? But other than that, I ain't about to talk y'all head off. It's been blissful. Thank y'all for joining me. Peace and love. I'm out.